Have you had any mentors or people that have influenced you, or people that you look up to?
Oh, yeah. Two in particular. Was the wonderful and great Dr. Sally Lear. She was a nursing professor at Emory for a really long time, and she taught a class. Well, she taught mental health nursing, but she also taught a class on human sexuality. That it was an elective, and I took it when I was in undergrad, and she was really funny. It was like all guest speakers, and she brought a sex worker in who would teach us how to put a condom on with our mouth with like a banana and everything. And Sally was this little tiny redhead older lady who would just like delight in these like nursing students being scandalized with all her guest speakers. But all that aside, she taught me that old people have sex, everybody has sex, and you need to talk to everyone about it. And I remember when I became a provider, she had me start being the guest speaker on trans health in her sex class, and it was called Sex with Sally, it was her class. And I remember thinking there was a huge, especially early on when I was an early provider, there was a big move to separate sexual orientation from gender identity. It's not the same, right? And to explain it in that framework to people. And so I'd be like, well, why is she having me come talk about trans health in a sex class? I was just thinking about that. And one day, and she helped me come to this, I realized that until we're comfortable talking about sex, we're definitely not going to be comfortable talking about other ideas of gender or the non-binary, thinking about it in terms of not a binary, I guess. So anyway, she taught me all of that, and I'm very grateful to her. And when she passed away, I got to take over her class at Emory. So I taught that for a few years, which was awesome. Mm-hmm. And then the other one would be Dr. Tyrone Malloy, who is an abortion provider here in Atlanta. And when I was in grad school, it was very difficult to find preceptors. So he took me in for my women's health rotation, and I got to spend time at his practice where he saw often three generations of women for OBGYN care. And his passion for women's health is beautiful at every spectrum. And he taught me so much about menopause, and especially the nuances of caring for women of color who are going through perimenopause and menopause, because it's different. And I'm very, very grateful for that. So those are two. I'm sure I've had others, but those are the two standouts.
Can back up just a second. Mm-hmm. You said something interesting about the difference between gender and orientation. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So sexual orientation is, who you love romantically, rudimentary wise. Gender identity is how you feel as far as your gender goes. Now, gender is a social norm. So if you think about it, the whole pink and blue thing, I think this has been reported on widely now, but that was never a thing. That was a marketing thing, like to make girls pink and boys blue. And like if you go to a Target and go down the aisles, you can see what boy toys are and what girl toys are. That is a total social construct. So this is why people have such a hard time with gender identity, because like if you're assigned female at birth, but you are a boy, you've been from birth pretty much, even in open-minded families, it's like there is a definite social norm that that's forced onto you initially, and then you learn from that. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm not much of a theorist, but that's kind of my way of explaining it.